report. Hanging at the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. For your latest news in high school sports, tune in to the fish report. Don't need no bed, don't need no pull. When you tune in to the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. You got Craig and TK and Head Left D tuned in at the fish report.
Coming to you live from Studio F in Russia, Ohio. It's the Fish Report Live Show with your hosts, Craig Fissinger and Ken Francis.
Tune in to the fish report.
Welcome, everyone, to another Fish Report Live. My name's Craig Fissinger. That's Ken Francis. We're your host. And back in our sound room, you know who's back there. It's TK and Heavy D. Got them both this week. And Ken, a lot going on this week in high school sports, wasn't there?
Absolutely, Craig. You know, a lot of baseball going on. The postseason, we're in the heart of the postseason play in baseball and softball. We've got preliminaries in the local track meets and all the league meets, the SCAL, the MAC. And just a lot of action, Craig. Had the opportunity to go to a high school baseball game tonight. Hard to believe it's postseason. These spring sports go awful quick.
Yeah, we're going to talk about some of those tournament games tonight with a special guest that we just lined up tonight. We're also going to talk with another interesting guest about a variety of subjects, aren't we?
Yes, sir, Craig. Really looking forward to talking to Russia cleanup hitter Zach Sherman. He's been playing third base and some first base for the Raiders this year. He's been swinging a real hot bat, Craig. He's hitting over .530 for the season, and he's just been instrumental in the Raiders' success, especially on the offensive side of things. And, Craig, we're looking forward to talking to the managing editor of Press Pros magazine, the guy that a lot of people see on all these sporting events, and he writes great articles, Craig. I read his articles quite often, and some great Russia articles, including some that have been very special to me, and I want to thank him. And that's Sonny Fulks. Looking forward to talking to Sonny on the phone after a while.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk to Zach after that big tournament win for the Raiders tonight. And then, of course, always excited to talk to Sonny and get his opinion on a few different things. But before we do that, Ken, just like we do every week, we have a weekly trivia question. And what do you have for me tonight?
Well, Craig, speaking of Sonny Fulks, the trivia question is going to be what position, he played baseball in Ohio State, played for the Buckeyes. Back in the early 70s. What position did Sonny play for the Ohio State Buckeyes as a member of the baseball team? Was he a catcher, an infielder, a pitcher, or an outfielder?
You gave me an easy one tonight. I know this one. I'm pretty sure I know this one, but let's see what our Fish Report viewers out there know. So if you're watching us on the Fish Report live page right now, you can scroll down, answer that trivia question, and check the results. If you're watching us on NK Telco or Game Face Ohio on cable, you can wait till the end of the show, and we'll have those answers for you at the end of the show. All right? All right, let's get things started tonight, Ken. And last week we kind of focused on the MAC. If you remember, we had a guest, Jerry Kalp from Fort Recovery, talked about the Fort Recovery Indians, talked about the MAC a little bit. Tonight we're going to keep it in Shelby County, talk about all Shelby County schools and baseball in particular. At the start of tournament, Ken, there were 7 teams that went in the tournament from the Shelby County Athletic League, down to 3 already. And let's recap what's happened here tonight in tournament play. And let's start out with Division III in the Miami East Upper. What happened tonight there?
Well, Craig, Anna with a real tight game. They win 2-1 over Brookville in the semifinal, and the other semifinal saw Northeastern beat Milton Union 3-2. So great matchup there scheduled for next Wednesday night. Look for Anna to win that game, advance out to the Cincinnati East District Championship game. I really like Anna, Craig. I've seen them play 3 times this year. They're very good. They hit the ball well. They play good defense, and they got outstanding pitching. So look for the Rockets to advance.
I got to admit, Ken, at the beginning of the season, I kind of questioned Anna how they would do this season with a new coach, and lost the Shelby County Player of the Year, I think, last year, and Josh Robinson, but they're playing awfully well.
They are, Craig. Didn't surprise me a bit. I knew who they had coming back. I knew they were going to have 2 very live arms, and they're looks like they're going to be the Shelby County League champion, Craig. They've had a great year.
All right, and let's go to Division IV. A lot happened tonight in that Troy lower bracket. Let's check that out.
Yeah, Craig, the Troy sectional lower bracket, Russia Fort Laramie, another rematch. The two teams have played twice this year. They split. Russia had a very tough, hard-fought game tonight, 2-1 over Covington. Everybody expected that to be a very good, close game, and it was. Just an outstanding pitching matchup there. Fort Laramie cruised over Jackson Center 10-0, and Laramie's got a lot of talent. Craig, Russia's got a lot of talent. The two coaches coached against each other, or coached with each other for about 10 years. Now they're going head-to-head. They've split so far this year. Look for a great game next Wednesday night.
All right, I can't wait for that. And, speaking of Russia, Ken, one big reason for their success, of course, as you mentioned at the top of the show, has been Zach Sherman, their cleanup hitter. As you mentioned, batting .530-something the last we checked. The Sydney Daily News always runs that area leaders leaderboard there in the paper on Saturdays. Zach was batting .538 the last time I looked. But we're happy to have him live on the phone tonight after a win here at Russia Park. Zach Sherman, welcome to Fish Report Live, and thanks for joining us.
Hey, Craig. Thanks for having me.
Hey, well, listen, congrats on the win tonight. You guys bumped your record up to 20-5 on the season. More importantly, now you're playing in the sectional finals against the familiar foe, the Fort Laramie Redskins. But let's talk about this Covington game. This is the same team. You were on this team last year when they upset you in the sectionals. How bad did you guys want this one tonight?
Yeah, we had a whole year to think about the last game. And we played them early in the year. We run-rolled them both times. But we definitely wanted some revenge here tonight.
All right, well, now you move on to play Fort Laramie. Like I just said, you split with them during the regular season. Zach, what do your Raiders need to do well in that game to win a sectional championship?
Yeah, our hitting's coming in strong. It's starting to peak towards the end of the season. And I think we just need to execute the fundamentals, and we should be pretty good.
Zach, hi, this is Ken, and congratulations on what's been an outstanding season, not only for you, but for the entire team. Coach Flippo, he's in his first season as a head coach. He's got over 20 wins right now, just having a great year. Not only are you hitting for average this year, you're driving in lots of runs. What's the mental approach as you go to the plate versus if the bases are empty or if there's runners on base?
Yeah, I got to give some credit to the people ahead of me, Jordan Garrity, Nolan Francis, and Drew Sherman for getting on. But mainly I'm just trying to choke up and hit some line drives, knock them in.
Zach, you've played a variety of positions this year. You started out the year at third base. You played some first base. You've been on the mound a couple times. You've also been a designated hitter. What's the approach, and how does the game change when you're the designated hitter and you don't actually get out there on the field to play defense?
I definitely try to stay loose more in the dugout and just focus on my next at-bat, what I need to do.
Zach, the Raiders are playing very well right now. They're 8-0 in the month of May, the longest winning streak of the season. In your opinion, Zach, what has made the Raiders so tough to beat in May and going forward to continue this winning streak through the postseason?
Jacob Kleiman and Drew Sherman, their bats have come alive recently, so got to give them some credit too.
A couple of weeks ago, we had Kevin Flippo on the show, and I was around. He's been around your team. What's your feeling? How has he responded as a first-year coach? And tell us a little bit about how he handles his players throughout the game.
Yeah, Coach Flippo, he likes when people follow his rules and do as he says. But if you follow him, you'll be pretty well off.
Hey, Zach, listen, one more question and we'll let you go. But I want to change the subject here a little bit. Along with being a pretty good baseball player, you're also an accomplished golfer for Russia. You were a first-team All-SCAL player last year. The weather's been pretty gorgeous out here lately. I want to ask, have you managed to maybe slip out and play a few rounds of golf during baseball season yet?
Right now, it's pretty much all baseball. But we'll be plenty of time for golfing later on in the season.
Are you afraid that might ruin your swing maybe a little bit? Your golf swing and your baseball swing aren't exactly the same, or?
Yeah, baseball swing and golf swing kind of conflict, so I try to stay off that.
Hey, Zach, do me a favor. Keep the clubs put away until this season's over. You have all summer to work on that golf game out there on the links. And like you said, Craig, best of luck to you, Zach, the rest of the year. You guys have been a joy to watch. Love going to the ballpark. Love watching Raider baseball. And, thanks for everything you're doing for the team and being part of our show, and keep it rolling.
All right, thanks for having me.
All right, that was Russia Jr. Zach Sherman, Ken, and the Raiders' next game again is Fort Laramie next Wednesday. But between that time, they actually have one regular season league game to go yet, don't they?
Yeah, they do, Craig. Like you said, Fort Laramie will be next Wednesday night. They do have Fairlawn tomorrow night, the last regularly scheduled season game. Don't be surprised, though, Russia will pick up another game over the weekend, maybe either Friday or Saturday. I'll look for them to, I know they're going to try to get a game with a local team, maybe Versailles, if Versailles wins tonight. So, a lot of times teams got games that they can pick up because they haven't played their total maximum number of games. So pretty sure they'll pick up another game somewhere.
And your thoughts on that? Does that keep the team sharp, or are you worried about maybe potentially somebody getting injured in a situation like that?
No, I think it's important, especially to face a good team like a Versailles or somebody else that's in the postseason yet, so they're going to be a pretty quality team. It keeps the bats fresh. It keeps the kids focused on the important task at hand and gets other kids some innings on the mound.
All right. Well, one thing's for sure, Ken, next Wednesday there will no longer be 3 Shelby County teams left in the tournament play. Maybe 2, but definitely not 3. So
yeah, well, it's to me no surprise, Craig, that these 3 teams are still alive in the tournament: Russia, Fort Laramie, and Anna. 3 excellent baseball teams. The 3 teams played each other this year head-to-head, and, they had some wins and losses against each other, and just 3 outstanding programs, and best of luck.
Yeah, top 3 teams in the league. So.
Absolutely.
All right, well, listen, that's going to do it for the first half of the show. We're going to take a short break, but stay right there because when we come back, we're going to have that big interview with Press Pros Magazine's Sonny Fulks. You won't want to miss this one, folks. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the second half of Fish Report Live. And Ken, I'm awfully excited about this next interview. I know both you and I visit his website every day, as well as thousands of people across Ohio and thousands of people across the country, don't they?
Yes, they do, Craig. Sonny's got not only himself as a great writer, Craig, but he's got a handful of other very good writers. He covers anything from local high school sports to the Cincinnati Reds to the Dayton Flyers and a lot of things in between. So Sonny's just a phenomenal writer, and all of his work that he does goes very much appreciated.
All right, well, listen, he's an alum of The Ohio State University, where he played 4 varsity seasons for the Buckeyes baseball team, Ken. He furthered his baseball career as a minor league umpire for 7 years, working games in single A, double A, and triple A. Afterwards, he went on to do many more things, including his job now as the managing editor of Press Pros Magazine. He's Sonny Fulks again, and we're happy to have him live on the show right now. Sonny, welcome to Fish Report Live, and thanks for joining us.
It's good to be with you guys.
All right, well, listen, lots of postseason action going on right now. Ken and I were just talking about it. We've actually been talking about Shelby County baseball so far tonight. Now, you live in Miami County, which actually Covington to be more precise, and they've got a pretty decent softball team over there in the Lady Bucks, Sonny. They're ranked number 2 in Division IV this week, and that's nothing really new for them. So tell me, can you explain what's the reason for Covington's success year in, year out?
Well, I think anytime you have a school system that has any success with a particular sport, like Marion in football or Covington in softball, as you mentioned, I think it becomes down to a culture of that particular sport within the community. And, you know, Denlinger has done a great job. Dean has done a great job of coming in there and making softball important, making it something that the girls want to be involved with. They want to be successful. And there's expectations, and the girls know that going in. And I think when there's ground rules like that established and you know what's expected of you, it makes it easier for them to go in and perform and come up with the kind of consistency that you've seen there for the last 3, 4, 5 years. So they've got good players, they've got great coaching, they've got great support within the community. It's the thing to do there now. Covington's always been a football town, and now it's a fast-pitch softball town as well.
Sonny, hi, this is Ken Francis, and let's shift gears a little bit. And I know you love covering high school sports. You do a fantastic job on it. But one other sport you really like to cover as well is college baseball. You're an alumni of The Ohio State University. You played for them, and they've actually got a local boy now from Minster that everyone knows of by the name of Adam Niemeyer playing for him. You had the opportunity to see him pitch. I know you wrote a very nice article on him. Give us, in your opinion, how is he doing at Ohio State since his Tommy John surgery, and what's the future look like for Adam Niemeyer?
Well, you know, Adams is a great story. You know, he went over there and got off to a good start last year, and if you might know, he'd had some arm issues in high school while he was still at Minster, and you know, I think as he told me, he was out on the West Coast on a road trip with them pitching as a freshman when the thing popped, and knew immediately that something was terribly wrong, came back, had the Tommy John surgery, took the year to do the rehab, worked extremely hard. I first saw him throw back in January, this past January, and it looked to me like he was throwing about 80%. At the time, he said, I'm a little tentative, but it got better and better and better each week. Started the season, went south with him, and in his words, throwing about 95%. But I saw him pitch against Louisville in his start against Louisville about 5 weeks ago. Pitched 5 innings, got the win there over a nationally ranked team. But I think the most poignant thing about it was I saw him pitch 2 weeks ago against Illinois. And it was night and day in that month between Louisville and Illinois, how much more flexibility he had. His velocity was up, his confidence was up, his body language, Ken, all those kind of things that you need to pitch at major levels of college baseball. Adam has acquired over the course of this last 2.5 months of the Ohio State season. And they're very, very high on him. Right now, he's going to be pitching with the Chillicothe Paints in the College Prospect League this summer, and I just think he's going to have a fantastic career over there. I've seen him pitch like 3 or 4 or 5 times now over the course of the season, and I can tell you from the first time until the most recent time against Illinois is night and day, and he's on the fast track to really having a nice career there.
Sonny, let me ask you, what is that a credit to him? You say night and day. Making that improvement since the Louisville game. Is that a credit to his coaches? Is that something that he's personally just done himself? What would you attribute that to?
Well, I think I've known a number of people over the years who've had that surgery done, that procedure. I think it's a confidence thing. I think there's a mindset that you have to get beyond, that I'm not hurt anymore, or more importantly, I'm not going to hurt myself again. And, you know, he's young. He's 19 years, maybe 20 years old. And you heal so much quicker when you're 20 than you are when you're 50 or 60. And I just think the process of of just flexibility and strength and confidence and all these things are coming together for him right now. And it's just a matter of going out there and proving to yourself that you're not injured anymore and you're not going to re-injure yourself. And when you get that going for you with a 90-mile-an-hour plus fastball, and he's always had a good breaking pitch, he's developed a good changeup now. He's throwing those 3 pitches for strikes, and with confidence, that gives you a tremendous advantage. And that's the difference from back then when he was a little tentative. I'm not going to say he was tentative against Louisville, but at the beginning of the year, and they wouldn't have put him out there against Louisville had they had any worries about him. But that was his coming out. That night when he pitched 5 innings, gave up 2 hits, won 2-0, that was his coming out night. And from that point on, he's just kicked the door down.
Sonny, another college program you like to cover is Dayton Flyers. Personally know Tony Vittorio, the coach over there. I've talked to him before, and I know he really enjoys going hunting on your land over there. He's told me that before, so I'm sure you're well aware of that. But Coach Vittorio does a great job with the Dayton Flyers, kind of having a rough season this year, and I'm sure he's looking to turn things around next year. And maybe one of the kids that can help him turn things around is incoming freshman Connor Eccles from Sydney. We had Connor on our show last week or 2 weeks ago. Great young ball player right there. How do you feel Connor will fit in for the Flyers, and what does the future look like for him and Coach Vittorio?
Well, Connor comes from a good baseball family. His older brother was a good player as well, as I'm sure as you know. The good thing about Connor going to UD and playing is he's going to get an early opportunity. That's a program right now that's in a little bit of a down cycle with athletes, which happens just about to any given program that you can name. I mean, Ohio State's coming off a period where they've, not been so successful the last couple of years, and Coach Beals has had a couple of good recruiting classes, and now look where they are. They're 35-15 or 16, something like that, third in the Big Ten, and last week were rated 23rd in the nation. So I think they're in a situation at Dayton where they need good talent. They need kids with who want to seize the opportunity and make the most of it. That's all you can do. You recruit somebody because they've got skills, and then when they get into that situation, all you can do is give them an opportunity and see how they adjust and take advantage of their opportunity. And that's solely on Connor Eccles. So he's in a good situation where he's going to get to play. He's going to get to say to somebody, by the way he performs, look, I belong here, and I want to make the most of this. And that's all you can ask for. I don't care how highly you're recruited, even if you're a walk-on. When I went to Ohio State 40 years ago, I didn't have a scholarship. I just walked on. I could throw strikes. I could get people out. Couldn't even explain how I did it. But when you can go in and prove to people that you can perform and be successful, that's the greatest opportunity in the world.
Yeah, we're certainly going to be rooting for him here, Sonny. And Sydney's season actually ended a little bit sooner than I think Connor wanted this past week. So I'm sure his attention now is fully focused on becoming a Flyer here next. But hey, listen, Sonny, one more question. We'll let you go. But I couldn't let you go tonight without asking about one of my favorite stories that I've read that you've published on Press Pros, and that's about former Fort Laramie minor league baseball player Randy Schaefer. I don't know if you know, Sonny, but Randy was actually a high school baseball coach here at Fort Laramie, my high school baseball coach, so I get a personal kick out of this story. But let me start it for you here. I know you were umpiring a Double-A game in Memphis back in 1978. Randy was the catcher, and I think his manager was Felipe Alou, if I remember your story correctly.
That's right.
He was giving you a hard time with balls and strikes, and can you kind of take the story from there?
Well, it was one of those situations where every pitch through the first 3 or 4 innings of the game was a borderline pitch from both teams. And if you'll remember, there was a pitcher named Scott Sanderson, as I remember, who later pitched for the Cubs in the big leagues and had a very good career, threw the ball about 95 miles an hour with a good hard sinking action on it. And I think he was the pitcher that night. And every pitch was just borderline. And, once you start calling those pitches one way or the other, you got to stick with them. And that particular night, I was calling a lot of those pitches as balls. And, I got into the 5th inning, and the game began to get a little tight, and it was a particular ball 4 pitch. And The guy walked, goes to first base, and I think it may have loaded the bases. And the next guy up, the pitch is right down the middle of the plate, something like that. And I set up over Randy's inside shoulder like you do as an umpire, and the ball tailed inside, and he didn't even reach for it. And it struck me right above the left elbow and shattered my elbow. And long story short, I had to leave the game. And after that point, I didn't even know who Randy Schaefer was. My partner at the time, on the way back from the hospital that night, says, "Hey, have you ever heard of a place called Fort Loramie, Ohio?" And I said, "Sure, it's about 10 miles from my home." He says, "Well, the guy that ducked the pitch on you is from Fort Loramie." And then I found out a little bit more about him. But throughout the rest of the season, you know, I really took out some vengeance on Randy Schaefer. You know, I never called any pitch that didn't bounce, I called a strike. And I really made life pretty miserable for him. And we laugh about that now because I didn't get to know Randy until years and years and years after we were both out of baseball, and we bumped into each other. And I said, "You're the guy that ducked the pitch that broke my arm." And then we got to talking about it. He says, "No, I got crossed up. I was looking for a changeup or a curveball outside." And we laugh about it now, and we've become very close friends. And, of course, you know, he's owned Schaefer Oil there in Fort Loramie and did coach at Loramie. He's a great baseball guy, still got the passion for the game, and we have a lot of fun when we get together. And it's a good story. It's mostly the way I tell it. It's about 75% true. The one thing I will say that Randy doesn't remember, Felipe Alou came up to me a week later. We were in Jacksonville with the same team. And he walked out to home plate, and he says, "Hey," and I had my arm in a kind of a working cast, and he said, "Hey, it's too bad about your arm." And I'm sitting there looking at the lineup cards, and I said, yeah, thank you. He said, "Too bad about your arm," but he said, "You deserved it." He said, "You were terrible." Oh. And I said, "What did you say?" Yeah. He said, "Yeah, man." He said, "You were terrible." And so I ejected him right then and there. He never even got to start the game that night.
That's right, huh?
That's minor league baseball, though. There's 1,000 of those kind of war stories.
Well, listen, Sonny, we really appreciate you being on our show tonight. That's a great story right there. And, you know, good luck to you. Again, we love reading your articles over here. And thanks again for all the coverage you've given, not only to local sports, but in specific to the Russia Raiders, and you know, the good coverage that I've read from you on a personal standpoint. I very much appreciate it.
Well, we got great coverage, as you know, coming up for the next 3 weeks, culminating with the state tournament in Columbus in high school baseball. I think this is a great time of the year for people to get out and watch the kids play. My compliments again to the job that you guys do with your show. I know you have fun with it. People enjoy it, and you have a lot of passion for that, and I commend you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Sonny.
See you guys soon.
All right. That was Sonny Fulks from PressProsMagazine.com. Ken, always enjoy having him on the show.
Yep, great writer, great interview there, Craig. A lot of fun.
All right, well, speaking of funny stories, we got just a minute left, and I want to talk about a story I caught earlier this week on Twitter down at Franklin High School. You know where Franklin is, south
I've
of Dayton.
Heard of Franklin. I think a basketball player played down there.
Pretty good basketball player by the name of Luke Kennard.
Yeah, there you go.
Actually on this show earlier this year, but last Saturday, the Franklin High School baseball team showed up for a game, and that morning they found a tree, Ken, planted between home plate and pitcher's mound. I think we got a picture of it. Guys, you want to bring that up? And that is, I don't know what to think of that. You show up for a baseball game and you got a tree in your infield.
I would say it didn't take much to pull it out because it couldn't have been there for very long.
I wouldn't think so.
Pretty sure it wasn't rooted in yet.
Obviously a prank, and speaking of pranksters, I want to go back to the guys in the sound room because I think there are a couple pranksters as well. And guys, have you ever saw a prank as good as that in all your experience?
A couple of them, but I'm not sure how many we can talk about.
We don't want to give the kids any ideas now, but anything that you can recall from your days.
A lot of people probably don't know it. I was a pitcher in high school, and one of the games I wasn't pitching. There were some apartment buildings next to the field where we played, and I walked over in my uniform, got up on the apartment buildings, and sat down and watched the game from on top of the apartment buildings next door to the field.
Is that true?
Wait, that was Tom Browning. I'm sorry. That wasn't me. That was Tom Browning.
Heavy D, how about you? Anything?
One that comes to mind here recently was a group of seniors from Russia a couple years ago. I believe they all shaved their heads and went into Mr. Rose's office with suits and ties on, and they were all mini-me Mr. Roses, 5 of them. I think that was about 2 years ago.
I saw that picture. I saw that picture. That was a good one. That's a nice, clean one.
That's fun. That's good, clean,
no
fun.
No harm called.
Just a little word of advice to the Russia seniors. Keep your noses clean. Got 1 more week to go. Walk at graduation. Let's have some fun.
Yeah, we want to see them all graduate.
Absolutely.
Sure. All right, Ken. Well, listen, that's about going to wrap it up for us tonight. Do have that trivia question to get to. What do you have?
Well, Craig, we just had the pleasure of talking to Sonny Fulks. He may have gave the answer away during our interview there, but he played for Ohio State. Craig, what position did he play? Was he a infielder, a pitcher, a catcher, or an outfielder?
Yeah, he gave the answer away for sure. But let's see if any of our Fish Report viewers that were watching the show tonight got the answer right on the telemetrics. And guys, anything tonight on the Fish Report telemetrics?
Wasn't the original trivia question, what kind of shoes does he wear?
That could have been.
I think that was question B.
Okay, anyhow, let's ping the tower here. Go ahead, TK, ping the tower. Got a response here. Fish Report viewers say outfielder. I would challenge that, Craig, with some caution there.
I'm definitely going to challenge that because I know Sonny Fulks is a pitcher for The Ohio State University.
He was a pitcher back in the early 70s, Craig, and like he said before, he went there on as a walk-on, and all he did was get people out. I think that's the main goal.
That's the goal of a pitcher for sure.
That's right.
All right, well, listen, that's going to do it for our show tonight. I do want to thank our guest, Zach Sherman from Russia, for coming on the show tonight, as well as Sonny Fulks from PressProsMagazine.com. 2 more shows left in the season, Ken, starting next Wednesday, same time, same place. So until then, have a great rest of the week, everyone. Good night.
Hanging at the fish report. 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 For your latest news in high school sports, tune in to the fish report. Don't need no bed, don't need no pull when you tune in to the fish report. Hanging at the fish